What's up, y'all? It's your boy Dab Dale on the Black Evolution. I got a very special guest. She's a businesswoman, has a killer instinct. Give it up for Miss Ashley K. How you doing, sister?
I'm doing good. How y'all doing out there?
Good, good. And we also have a great debate. We're gonna talk about Jonathan Majors, Rhianna cover photo, and masculine women versus feminine men with Mr. Kidd Klutch as the moderator. So without further ado, let's get into it. It's the Black Evolution. We evolving. So we're gonna have a great debate season. Also, Ms. Ashley K, I just want to just thank you for being on here. Thank you for coming on here. And we're gonna talk about this major topic of Jonathan Majors, Rhianna, masculine versus feminine men. So I'm gonna have Ms. Kidd Klutch be a moderator. Let's get into it. Kidd Klutch, do your thing, brother.
Okay, thanks, Dan. First question. What are your thoughts on the whole Jonathan Majors cover story? And this question goes to you, Ashley K. You're going to let ladies go first. I'm a gentleman.
All right. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So I'm assuming that we're talking about the Jonathan Majors cover for Ebony magazine when he was dressed in pink and whatnot. Me personally, and being a woman, of course, I thought it was a beautiful photo cover. I think that it's unique to be able to step outside of the norm. I don't think that just because you're a man that, wearing pink or, being dressed a certain type of way kind of means certain things. Like, you have to dive a little deeper than just face value. Also, let's also take into instance that this man is being styled. It's not as if he's coming up with his own wardrobe idea or something like that. This was actually given to him. It is a job. At the end of the day, he is an actor. He's a model and whatnot. So he gets paid to do these certain looks. So I think that us just taking a look at it for what it looks like, there's so many other layers to that. I mean, it's cool when Cameron wears pink. We've seen it endless times over Halloween season. People wanting to, put that costume on, whether they be white or black or Spanish. Everyone wants to look like Cameron, but then we yet try to flip it when it comes to somebody else. And maybe it's not the preferred outfit. Maybe it's not the preferred gangster look. But going back to the fact that this is a paid actor, he gets paid to do covers. So let's keep that in mind. That's my personal idea of it. It was a beautiful, beautiful cover photo, and I think that if you are taking just the time to look at it for face value, I think that you need to stop, take a minute to take your personal feelings out of it, and actually look deeper into the situation.
Miss Ashley K, you make a great point on that, and I'm going to come back to you on that, but I'm going to bring Daniel in and ask him the same question. What are your thoughts on this Jonathan Majors cover?
Oh man, do I ever have? Man, I've thought about this topic all week, and I have to say this, Miss Ashley K. I respect your opinion, but with all due respect, I respectfully disagree. I think it is a disgrace that he wears pink and that he wears that cover photo. Cause I don't think you understand what's going on here. There is an agenda at work here. The agenda is to feminize the black man and masculinize the black woman. So what they did with this strong alpha male brother here is they took him and had him wear feminine clothing, making emasculating the brother and making him seem weak and feminine. You don't do that to a strong alpha male. This is a disgrace. They will also, I will have to say this, they never do it with a white male. They never do it with white males. They always do it with black, strong, black, masculine men. This is a disgrace. How dare you, Jonathan Majors, do that cover photo? You gonna let your corporate masters do that to you, brother? Come on now. You don't let them do that to you. You are an alpha male. That's my thoughts on this.
Ashley K, you can respond to that.
Thank you so much. So going into you saying that they don't do like white actors like that and whatnot. I don't know. First off, let me ask you. Let me ask this question, and this is for the moderator. Are we allowed to cuss on here?
Oh yeah, you can say any word you want on here.
Okay, all right. So my first question, Daniel, and you can answer this in your next rebuttal if you feel like that you want to come back with something. But how much pussy do you think that this man got after this cover? I want you to be serious and really just take a moment to really think about that, because a real woman, like someone that's very secure with themselves, someone who isn't afraid to have that conversation, if maybe that's what you're thinking, like, oh my goodness, they're demasculating the strong black men. Like, I get what you're saying about the idea for society is to do that, but no one can demasculate you unless you allow them to. That's a personal choice. You know what I'm saying? Because there's been too many other black men that have decided not to let society do that to them, that have been in rougher situations. So, and the shit didn't start just in 2023. Like, it didn't just begin now. So it's clearly been going on before us, but other people have made a choice to make it out. And you have to be insecure about who you are. That man probably got so much more after that. It is a job. And learning how to separate work from personal is something that people should learn how to do, whether woman or man. There are white actors that also take these steps. Harry Styles, Ryan Gosling, other people that have a more strong, pretty boy, white boy look, blonde hair, blue eyes, that also do the same thing, but they're marketed to a different type of community. Of course, there's some of us as black women that enjoy also seeing that don't have a problem with that. So that's why it's okay for us to accept that, you know what, this man is all pink on this cover. It looks nice. I don't think anything personal about his life, because guess what? I also don't know this man personally. We're also forgetting that. We don't know him.
Ashley K.
So I would, think about that yourself. Like, the courage that it took to be outside of his norm, and think about the result. Sometimes you have to get uncomfortable to actually make a change. So you never know what came from this. Yeah, there's this uproar within the black community, and I don't know where that black part of that black community is or whatever, because if you have the time to, look into other people's business, then clearly you're not doing enough for yourself. But if whoever's taking the time to really look into that, then, kudos to you. But I think that really also goes in insecurity with yourself. As I said, there's too many other people playing Cameron during Halloween. Too many other people wearing pink furs. Are you telling me that Cameron is also discriminating the masculine black man? Go tell Dipset that.
Ashley K, you make a good point on that too. I gotta push back on something that you said about that. Is yes, white men are able to be seen in different lights as far as we can differentiate the way they are seen as far as their career and their persona and their actual life. But we do know this very well in the black community. It's double standards. They link that as the black man's actual character. They link certain things as the black women's character. So when they do that, there are agendas being pushed. As I've noticed, like in Hollywood, there's been a war on black men and black men's free speech and freedom to express themselves as far as clothing and everything. It's always that they want to put, and we've heard this from many actors in Hollywood they say, well, use your black voice or use this and that. It's a stereotype instead of allowing them to express things how it actually is, because I think while we don't have a problem with it, a lot of people in our community don't have a problem with it because we don't see it in the way as other communities. Other communities would be in an uproar about this because they'll say, what are we telling our kids? What's the agenda being pushed? But as far as in the black community, we kind of ignore stuff because we want to be inclusive and we want to fit into this stuff. So I want to know your thoughts on that.
I definitely, cause I understand where you're coming from. Um,
Because I do think that, especially these mainstream media companies, I think they do try to push agendas in the black community to create these type of divides on what masculinity is and what femininity is too. And Daniel, I know you want to respond to that,
Oh
so I'm gonna
yes,
just
oh
let
yes.
you.
I'm just saying, Miss Ashley K. I do respect the opinion, but however, I have to disagree because you don't seem to understand. There is an agenda being pushed here. They always push the black man being feminine. They also did this with Russell Westbrook, him wearing a dress. You know, it's always these strong black men wearing these dresses. They do it in Hollywood. Tyler Perry does it all the time when he plays Medea and putting on feminine clothing. Martin Lewis did it in the show Martin. Come on now. You got to recognize that there's an agenda being pushed to feminize the black man. And also, they want to masculinize the black woman. It's a double standard. They're trying to do a gender war and a gender divide between the black man and the black woman. They want to make the black man feminine and the black woman masculine. We need strong black male leaders in our community. Black men are being under attack. Their black masculinity is being under attack. Heck, even when you want to insult a black man, what do? They call him gay. What does that tell you?
True.
They want to feminize the black man.
I, I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I respect your opinion, but if society is playing such a big role in demasculating the black man, where does the influence come before that? Like, where does it come from? Ages 1 through 4, 1 through 6, when these people are when the black man is with their family. Or maybe there's a missing father figure. Other things that are playing other roles besides society, besides the TV, besides social media, besides fake things, like real life things.
But see, society is dominated by media, culture, and politics. That's all
So
immersed in
what's
it.
happening between the ages of 1 to 6? Where, okay, I mean, I can only speak. Of course, maybe you guys can really speak to like society now because I'm an '80s baby, so I didn't grow up with the iPad in my hand. I didn't grow up with a TV in front of my face. So maybe you guys can tell me where the influence as a black man yourself, because I'm a woman. So as a black man yourself, maybe you can tell me where it's falling apart at that point, because that plays a role.
Well, it falls into how black men are even viewed in a political sense, in a social sense, and even an economic sense. If you look at commercials with black men, I noticed this too. TV. If you go to any commercial, there's certain things that is being put on networks where black people and black kids are more likely to look at TV. So you would never
Such as
see
what?
you would never see commercial with two men kissing or two women kissing on let's say ABC, Fox,
That's not true.
CBS.
That's not true. It's majority of the Caucasian shows that are actually like now pushing like same-sex marriage or black and white marriages. It's these shows that are pushing that agenda. Rarely okay, I'll give you one black show, The Chi. The Chi has a mom couple on there. Other than that, you're really not seeing it because we still are living in the dark. Like, it starts before society. Like, it starts as for young black men who are not growing up with their dads in the home, who unfortunately are being taken advantage of within their own family. Maybe it's at church. Maybe it's the uncle. There's other things that are playing bigger roles into that. And when you try to sweep that shit under the rug continuously for years, and then, yeah, go ahead and throw a little bit of social media in there. Let's go ahead and throw a little bit of TV in there. Let's go ahead and throw in some other kids that are uneducated or their parents who are also uneducated. Let's go ahead and throw a little bit of that in there, too, into the mix. And then, yeah, no one's taking accountability, and then this child grows up. And then you want to blame it on, the society and the agenda that's being pushed to demasculate black men, but you're forgetting that it starts in the home. It starts when a child is being touched between those ages of 2 and 3, and the mom and the dad are choosing to sweep that shit under the rug because it's a family member. It's starting there. That's where it's starting. That's what we're not discussing. And that's what will continue to knock black men down, because you're not choosing to talk about the trauma that may be playing a role into your life on top of the society. If you already know you're experiencing trauma and not taking the steps to heal, but then you want to go ahead and add in what the world is pushing to you as well, which is all fake, because perception is reality. We love to believe what somebody pushing. Who are you? No one's taking accountability for anything.
Well, you are right. There's a lack of accountability, but I think we also have to put accountability on the systems. Why are black men out of the homes? Because mass incarceration. You have black men are unemployed at higher rates than their fellow counterparts in other races. You have
and not in 2023
generational trauma.
More black people are stepping up into entrepreneurship and things.
Yeah, but so that's a small percentage. That's a small percentage. That's actually going beyond the middle class.
You got black men being released out of jail right now. We don't know what they're doing with their time, but hopefully they're moving in the right direction.
Yeah,
but yes, there are still a lot of us that are mass incarcerated at this point in time that have made choices to provide for their family. Maybe it was illegally or something like that, due to those things being missing. I completely understand. I completely agree with you. You have that. I'll give that right there to you. There it is. But there's other things that's playing roles. Like, we can't just blame it on an agenda that's being pushed.
It is. Because the agenda is that's the root cause of all the issues. The agenda is to take the black man out of the community, take the black man out of the households, to make the black women hate black men, to make black men talk bad about black women, and to make black kids hate themselves, and to make our kids grow up quicker. That's really what the agenda is, and that's what I've been talking about as far as the advertisements. Because if we look at a lot of stuff, like you said with the TV shows, yes, white TV shows may have things about gay couples and diverse couples, but if you think about black advertisement, that stuff is being pushed in our community in advertisement and says you can have an alternative lifestyle and that it's wrong for you to think this way. And it's wrong for you to grow up in a traditional role. Yes, people, that's their business. They can be gay, straight, transgender, whatever they want to be. But what I'm talking about is the black community. They're pushing confusion on our kids, because you have people now telling them they don't have to identify as a male, woman, transgender. They can be, what is it? I heard pansexual. I don't even know what it's called. I'm like, what is that? Then you have people at work, at jobs, tell me that they're scared to even refer to a person as he or she, because you got people launching lawsuits, discrimination lawsuits, saying, well, you discriminated against me because I don't identify as either. So what is that? And we act like our kids is not watching it. Just like you said with the child sex abuse, that's going on too. But we got to talk about all that stuff. All that stuff ties together into our community, because the whole point of the agenda is to further divide our community by race. Well, not race, but colorism, sexism, economics, and sexuality. Even you've even seen it with our community, as far as in a political standpoint, that what I said about mass incarceration. Black men are released from prison, and a lot of these black men probably sold weed, and they're not able to obtain licenses for marijuana. So what they're saying is they're putting the black woman in front of the black man, saying she leads the household in the community. She should be your leader. She should be the masculine dominant figure in the community. But if you look at other communities, as far as Asian, white, Latino, Arabian, they all put the male in front. But as in the black community, when you say something about a black male being in charge, being masculine and empowered, people get offended. Even if you listen to some of the stereotypical terms, they'll say, "Oh, these black men are angry. We don't like and they do it with black women too. They say they're angry. We have to stop this. We can't let black men be masculine. We can't let them get out of control." When they talk about black gun ownership by black men, people start to get scared. You see the media, they turn stuff up. Because I remember when George Floyd, that situation came up. Black gun ownership went up by I forgot how many percentages, and Walmart stopped selling guns. And we have all these mass shootings, mass killings, and nobody did anything about it. But anytime black people do something that's positive and we want to control our own narrative, we have corporate media want to control our narrative. And that's what I think these covers represent too. Daniel, you can respond.
I just want to say this about overall, it's about the agenda. It's about society, how they're trying to control and manipulate black people to do their bidding. This is why they want the feminine black man. This is why they want the masculine black woman. This is why they want to do the gender divide. All this connects together. And also in the personal home as well. They want to take black men out of the homes, in the mass incarceration, school to prison pipeline. All this controls people how they act. I have agreed in the communications. One of the things I learned is that the media controls child's education. The parents, they control it as well, but also these kids are largely influenced by the media and what they see on the TV, or what I call it the idiot box. They are influenced by this. So when they see stuff on TV, they're going to think, oh, well, it's okay, because they don't know any better. Because this is how the media, they want to control us. They want to manipulate us. They want to have masculine black women, feminine black men, the gender war, mass incarceration. And also when these dudes get out of prison, most of them can't even get jobs. They can't even get decent jobs, even though they did their time to society. I feel like the world doesn't want to actually solve these issues and solve the problem. They just want to, as you said, sweep it under the rug and cover it up. And also, this is why they push agendas, to try to get all this mass confusion, so that way we can't be woke and be conscious and see what's going on. And speaking of the woman leading, and speaking of that, it's just, you just have all this. That's just my final thoughts. And it's just like you have the agenda being pushed on us to control, manipulate, and ultimately keep us in a submissive state, or a plantation mentality state where we don't control anything.
Ashley K, you can respond to that. Any thoughts on that?
I'm actually like sitting in my car with someone who actually really wants to respond to what you all are saying, but I really don't have a response. My question actually is like, what would be your solution? Like, in a perfect world where the black man is ever so masculine and the woman is submissive, and she, just does whatever, I guess, women do. What does that look like for y'all? Like, what does that solution look like?
Basically, a two-parent household. You have they have to establish roles, because in each household it works differently. But you do have like most of the time the man is the breadwinner. He's the leader in the household. He's the leader in the community. He provides structure and stability. Um, he provides protection, so the women and the children, they feel safe. Um, and the women, they nurture, they care for the kids, they care for the husband, but they're independent. They can go out and work. They hobbies. They bring moral stability to the family. They bring counsel to the husband. They bring they show women how to treat their husbands, well, future husbands, and they also too they teach the men how to be gentlemen to their future wives, and they do that by doing that with the sisters or other women in the family, as far as like the mother. So I've always said it's like a mother's job is to she's very vital to the early development of the child. But I think as the child gets to be in the teenage and adult years, the father plays a vital role because the father has to bring structure to the community, but each one has to balance it out. But also too, I think in those situations, the man, he makes the major decisions. The woman, I've always said, the woman runs certain aspects of the household, but I think the man should always have final say on what goes on, because the man has to make those decisions for his family in the best way they can. And that also too, the man needs to be there, not as far as, I'm not just saying financially, he needs to be there emotionally for his family too, so they can feel safe. So that's my interpretation. Daniel, what's your interpretation?
My interpretation on the quote unquote perfect world is the black man is the leader, ultimately, of the household. He takes care of his family, provides for his family, takes care of his woman, loves his woman, and he is the head of the household. The woman takes care of herself, takes care of the children, and stands by and supports her husband through thick and thin, good times and bad times. Because also, I feel like a lot of times where people will get in these quote unquote marriages, they're like, oh, for better, for worse. But then as soon as things go worse, they just get up and leave. Nah, it's for better and for worse. So for good times and bad times, and vice versa, the husband. He's the leader. He's the alpha male. He takes care of his family, takes care of the children, protects them no matter what, and sticks by his woman, and the woman sticks by her man, and she submits to the man, because the man's the leader, the head of the household, the central pillar.
Ashley K, I know you said you had a guest that wanted to speak. Your guest to speak and give their opinion.
Okay, yeah. I'll let her say her piece because she has something to say. Give me one moment.
Okay.
Hey y'all, how are y'all today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm Q.
Nice to meet you, Q.
Nice to meet y'all too. So basically, I get what you're saying about the black household and whatnot, but I know the focal point when y'all started, because I've been listening this whole time, was fashion and how it's demasculating the man, the black male, and masculating the black woman. We haven't started talking about Rhianna and ASAP Rocky yet, but I don't think fashion plays a role in the societal thing we're referring to. I think as black people, we are very complacent. I'm going to say that because
I agree.
I hear what y'all saying about, mass incarceration, this, that, and the third, but let's also think about, I don't know y'all personally on this line, but have y'all ever been incarcerated? Probably not, because you're probably not at the wrong place at the wrong time. So there are also a lot of black people that are thriving, that may be living in, medium income, that have never been at the wrong place at the wrong time, but that also up to their upbringing, That's also up to their parenting, whether it's a single parent household or both parents in the home. But I think as Black people, we're very complacent in where we are. That it's easier to blame outside forces such as social media, a magazine cover. We don't even read magazines anymore. So for us to be judging this based on, okay, this man is deciding to wear pink. What was this? Was this a February issue for Valentine's Day? Okay, we're judging this based on pink. We're not judging a 9 to 5 man wearing a pink button-up shirt at work, but we're judging an actor that has stepped out on fashion. Me personally, I like the way he looked, but he actually doesn't really dress the normal way that we dress. I mean, he's stepping out on fashion. No one says anything to Kanye West when he dresses crazy. No one said anything about the crazy little red boots they just came out with. But the focus on the fact that he's wearing pink and it looks feminine, I don't think that has anything to do with our societal reach because, like Ashley said, the younger ages, they're not looking at social media. They probably don't even know who Jonathan Majors is. So the fact that we need to blame it more on the Black household versus fashion or magazine cover when we don't even read magazines anymore, I think is total BS. I appreciate y'all opinions. I respect it, but it really starts in a Black household. I was raised by a single mom. I've never been arrested. I've never had a speeding ticket. But again, I'm a Black woman. I've never felt masculine. And I date women. So I think it's total BS. It has to do with the household and complacency. I've lived in 3 states, and the reason I get out there and travel and see things is because I may not like the certain state I'm in emotionally. I may not like the circumstance I'm in financially, but guess what? You got to get out there and explore. You can't blame everything on other things when that's really not even the percentage of your household. And yeah, we talk about what people are saying on TV at home, but guess what? There are households that don't even allow their kids to watch TV until a certain age. I have a family member. She doesn't allow her daughter to watch TV. Okay? That's more so a weekend thing. So there's parental controls on certain apps, Netflix, Hulu. They have kid channels that only show kid things. So we are now in the age of technology advancement where everything is solely relied on an iPad or, hey, here you go, watch this, versus being an actual parent. A parent can be physically in the house, but not emotionally available to their kids. So now you have kids, let's use New York, for example, right? You have so many kids hanging out on the block doing this, doing that. That's an option. You know why? Because it is a popularity thing. Okay, and Black men have to get out of that of, oh yeah, I'm about to go slang dope, I'm about to go hang out with my friends. There's many successful Black men out there, Tyler Perry included. Just because he puts on a dress, he's given more jobs to Black people than I've ever known. He's also have paid Taraji P. Henson her highest, even though she's been in her career for quite some time. So I don't use Tyler Perry as an example. I don't watch his plays because, yes, I don't like to see, him dress up as Medea, but he also has other good movies where he's not even playing it as a woman. But he's created things for the Black community. He's still creating things for the Black community. There's also a Black man, I forgot his name, but he's paid off student loans at Morehouse for all the Black, the graduates. So I feel what y'all saying, but social media is really not a big take. That's more so an optional thing. And I'm going to say that for myself because I find myself on social media, but it's not where it's bringing something in my home and it's affecting my household. So it really starts with Black people. We're very complacent in our situation. For instance, right, if you're not, we say money doesn't, make you happy or money doesn't take care of everything. It really does, okay? Mm-hmm. So, say for instance, you're living in, the Bronx or the ghetto of New York, right? You can move down south. You can find you a whole new career. You could get paid more. You could provide more for your family. You could have a better outlook on life, right? Certain people move certain places because of finances. And as black people, we're so complacent and comfortable. Oh no, I've been here all my life. I ain't never leaving home. That's really the main problem. But single parents, single moms have done it. They've succeeded in it. So I'm not going to necessarily blame it on the black male and the absence, because there's also a lot of black males that are falsely incarcerated. But there's also a lot of black males that are not incarcerated. They just don't be in the household. So I don't think it's a thing of society. I think it's a thing of personal choice. And that comes from both black women and black men. Let's be for real. There's also black women out here that are on welfare with multiple kids. Why didn't you just stop at one if you knew you couldn't take care of it? So, yeah. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Q. You made some good points. You stay on, too, because you made some good points. And my whole thing is really, it's not really going at individuals that I have a problem with. I'm going at the system that makes a lot of this stuff happen, because I feel like the system is designed to create confusion in our community as far as with mass incarceration. That stuff was in the in the 80s, the crack epidemic. Yeah, there was strong-minded people that did not fall into those cracks, but you had other people that they lost their jobs. They couldn't provide for their families, so they said, "Hey, I can make a shit lot of money." And that's I'm really getting at. It's not really just individuals. I feel like the system uses individuals to control the rest of the community, and that's really where I'm going at with it.
Okay, I understand the system that you're referring to. I do, but as black people,
yeah, we gotta take accountability
us
too.
As a whole, we have to take accountability, because the system is going to be there regardless. You know, we're not the wealthy. You know, we were brought up over here not at our will. We can go back at any time. I want to go back, but we can't keep blaming and also not fixing it on our behalf, right? Like I said, there's a lot of us that have not had a law enforcement encounter because we're not at the wrong place at the wrong time.
That's true.
So for you to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, I think that's also a personal choice. Okay? And, you know, over the last few years, ever since the Trayvon Martin incident, I think, you know, it has blown up in a terrible way. But again, we do have to blame ourselves at some point. I get there's a system, you know, it's a white man's world. That's how I put it, okay? But we know that. So how do we change our part, right? How do we change our part as black people? So we can keep blaming the system, but at some point, now we're having, you know, think pieces about this. Like now, we have to grow up. We got to do what we need to do for our family, or let the white man make the decision. But they are the ones, they're the rulers of, you know, the world. So we got to step it up. We can't keep blaming it and not doing our part. Because, like I said, there are many successful black people out here, man and female. You know, you have doctors, lawyers, this, that, and the third. And we know that because guess what? After the George Floyd situation, everyone now wanted to be serviced by a black doctor. Everyone wanted to find black primary care, this, that, and the third. Everybody wanted to support a black business. So if we have that mindset, then we can conquer anything at this point, but don't keep blaming it on the system if you're just going to be complacent and stay in your same situation financially and as well mental, because it's also a mental thing. So as long as you get out of your head and, you know, you get your shit together, then at some point we will put less blame on the system and the white man, and we will take accountability and do what we need to do. So yeah, that's all I had to say.
I agree with you on that point. Two things can be true. I think it's also the white man's system that's doing it, but also our community needs to be held accountable for certain actions. But I think also too, need to have society needs to have grace for certain things that happen in our community, because even though we have certain bad apples in our community still survived a lot of the stuff that other communities wouldn't be able to do. So that's
Exactly.
my point. But switching gears to the Rhianna cover story, Ashley K, what are your thoughts on that?
I know exactly where you're going with this. You know, Rihanna leading, you know, this masculine looking woman leading this soft looking black man with holding her baby, you know, their baby, although it's their baby, you know, holding a baby. I see where that's going. Man, what can I say?
Seems like you're struggling over there.
Yeah, well, I mean, what can I say? I mean, A$AP Rocky has always looked feminine to me. He doesn't have a beard. But he's also a model. I mean, he's deep in his fashion. Although he's a rapper, even though him being a rapper also didn't give him a super masculine look as well. I mean, this is the same person. I am not surprised at the cover of how it looks. And to know any island woman is to know that they're alpha females already. So if we're going to go ahead and play that card, then we can just go ahead and tie that in there. Yeah, I didn't have any real hard personal thoughts about it. This is a alpha black woman. We all know it. I mean, we can go back as far to the Chris Brown incident. Yeah, there's nothing surprising there to me. Nothing at all. I didn't even take that photo as anything of demasculating him or whatever. He's always been a model. He models for some of the softest brands. I just seen his video that he did for Gucci. Very feminine, very soft. I mean, yeah, I don't really have any words for that one, to be honest. Like, Rihanna, like, was society not just drooling over her a year ago? But now we are just so caught up in her looking ultra, you know, masculine. Although she didn't look masculine at the Super Bowl, you know, whole performance. Yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely excited to hear you guys' opinion though, because I'm sure we're about to dive on in on the whole, you know, him looking very soft and super soft black man.
Oh yes, Daniel, what are your thoughts on the whole Rihanna cover?
Alright, I'm gonna unleash hell.
Holding it in.
I'm gonna unleash hell. This is disgraceful. What the hell is this? When I saw that cover, I was like, what the hell? You have an alpha masculine woman leading a black man, strong black man, and holding their baby. This is disgraceful. And then I saw in the Breakfast Club, you had Charlamagne the Fraud get up on there talking about, oh, look how empowering this is. Look at the woman leading. I was like, what? How dare you? That's such a disgrace. It's the masculine. It's the agenda. What's what I'm talking about? The agenda. It is the agenda of the alpha woman leading a man. Look you saw in the cover photo, leading him like a damn child. This is disgraceful. You will never see. They don't promote it in the white community this way, where their woman is leading them and taking charge and taking control. It's always with the black community where they do this agenda. They want a reverse standard where you have feminine men and masculine women. I saw that cover photo and that was a disgrace. It was ridiculous.
Are we forgetting that this is her photo shoot? This actually was her photo shoot. And she decided to bring the father of her child and her child along. This wasn't a family photo shoot. I'm sorry, I just needed to throw that in there. This was actually her photo shoot. It's supposed to be for her. So she made a choice to then bring her family along.
But the way how it looks, it's, you know, understand
They
it.
had her
It's
stand-
they had
stand
her.
behind
They
her.
had him standing behind her and looking feminine. They had a black man looking feminine, and the woman is leading him like a child. This is disgraceful.
You let her respond.
Go ahead, sister.
Yeah, the focus is not on him. Like, I mean, the photo shoot is not about him. It's about her becoming a mother, her journey. Now, whether that looks like, you know, him behind her, yes, it's always going to be Rhianna herself first, and then whatever else coming behind that, whether that's family, whether that's music, whatever that is. But A$AP Rocky has always looked soft. Always. His album, I mean, the song Goldie is a pimp. Soft. Very feminine looking, but very hard. Like, we can't just forget, like, who he already was. It doesn't, I feel like it's that, like, we're taking it too deep as well. And it's like, this is work. These people are getting paid for this, and I get what you're saying. That's a part of the agenda. Hey, let's throw a couple of dollars at these Negroes and make them do what we want them to do, and to, you know, because people believe what they see anyways. But I mean, the girl is almost a billionaire. Of course, she's already the breadwinner in the situation. That's not, you know, that's not because that's what society said. I'm sure they didn't want to set her up for that type of success. I'm sure that wasn't their agenda. Damn, let's make this lady a billionaire. That wasn't it.
Yeah, y'all.
Like, it's going too far. Like, this is work. This boy has always looked soft. Always.
Q, what are your thoughts on it?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think it's too deep of a conversation for y'all. I mean, I don't think, like I said, it's not a society thing with this one. It's not a society thing at all with fashion, okay? People have stepped out of the norms to look different, to be different. Let's be for real. There's a lot of ugly-ass Balenciaga sneakers that people are wearing because of what? They want to be different. So I'm not seeing how fashion is tying into demasculating anyone. Like Ash has said, you know, A$AP Rocky has never given me, you know, hardcore vibes. So him being, you know, maybe we're not saying that they're demasculating him. It's just everyone is different. Okay, we're not all created the same. But it's not like they put who is it, 50 Cent on the cover, okay?
Right.
And now he has a silk press, his hair is straight.
Yeah.
This is A$AP Rocky. These are two different, you know, I think y'all going too deep into it. Fashion is fashion, and like she said, that is Rihanna's cover. It says Rihanna making a comeback, basically. They're talking about her family, how she's adapted to motherhood, this, that, and the third. This is her decision on how she wanted to look, okay? And then also, he's holding their baby. So what about this masculates her and make her look like the stronger black woman? They just look like a normal couple with their child to me.
But the way, sister, I want to cue.
They're
trying to present
black
it.
women that, you know, if Rihanna can be the breadwinner in her family and her man is all right with it, every man should be like that. It's not just they're trying to use Rihanna as a tool to create a divide in the community.
Yep.
And they doing it's radical feminist groups, not regular feminist groups, radical feminist groups that hate men. They're doing it to say that black men ain't worth a damn and that men in general ain't worth a damn. So we're going to change it around. We're going to emasculate men. And
we're going to have the woman lead, and the woman leading, and the woman taking control, and the man is submissive, and the man is behind the woman. It's all about imagery. It's all about the imagery and the agenda that they're pushing with the masculine woman leading the weak feminine man. It all goes back to the agenda.
Let them talk.
I think this is very personal. I'm not sure how y'all relationships are with women or with mothers.
It's not about personal, sister. It's about the agenda.
It's personal, I'm going to say, because will we be saying the same thing? Okay, y'all perception is about, demasculating the man. What about everyone else's perception? That's y'all perception. That's y'all opinion, right? Will we be saying the same thing if it was Beyonce in front and then Jay-Z's back there holding their 3 kids? Would it be the
Yes.
same?
Yes,
No.
yes, yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
I don't think that. I don't think that because
Yes,
Jay-Z
we would.
Yes, we would, because it's all about the
Jay-Z.
agenda.
No, because Jay-Z's look, he has locks in his hair now. He has on a suit now. He's a businessman.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But I'm saying it's about the
They put
imagery.
out
It's the imagery that they're putting out. If they
the
put,
average women.
yep, if they put Beyonce in front and Jay-Z in the back, it's still the same thing.
Yep.
Holding the baby. It's about the imagery and the agenda of the masculine, super alpha woman leading the weak, feminine black man.
Yep.
Okay, but I just said Jay-Z is in a suit and he still has his locks. How he looks
But
now.
still, it's the imagery.
This is what they
What
presenting.
exactly is what's feminine about locks in a business suit?
But
That's
still,
what
they're
I'm trying to
presenting
figure out.
they're presenting it to the country. Look at this so-called powerful black man. His woman is leading him.
Behind the wall.
And
They're talking
if
about-
she does that, the rest of y'all should be.
So y'all are just talking about, y'all are not talking about looks or fashion. Y'all are talking about the position someone's standing in a photo for a magazine cover. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, we're talking about how they're trying to portray the
Okay.
magazine cover, not as far as like how they're dressing, but how they're trying to portray it.
It's about the
to
imagery
society.
and the agenda.
That's what I mean.
Okay, but back to the title, the headline of it, it was about Rhianna. So would she be standing in the back if it's about her?
No, I don't think she should be standing beside him.
Standing beside the man.
Or looking like a family.
Not the
Okay.
not the agenda of
And
the
I would-
woman
if
leading.
it was ASAP Rocky too, I would say if it was his cover, I would say his woman should be standing beside him.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I get it.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that because the only thing I can say after this is like, especially because y'all feel like that y'all would be thinking the same thing if it was Beyonce and Jay-Z. When we're talking about like both partners being billionaires, both of them. This is a 2-parent household. They're both putting in equal steps.
Yeah.
Jay-Z maybe be putting in even more steps than Beyonce, where in a hand of raising their children because she is, at a level where she's always on the go and things like that. Jay-Z being more of a businessman now, and not diving so much into music, he has that extra time, most likely. But
So dynamics of the relationship.
the dynamics of the relationship for them are a little bit similar, and for me that just goes back to being equally yoked with that person.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I think that's where maybe y'all are coming from.
Yeah.
Because that's where that's the only way that you possibly could be looking at the fact that a black man is behind a black woman and everything like that, because clearly you think higher of Rhianna than you do of A$AP Rocky. And so, yeah, I'm gonna kind of let that rest there, because I just feel like there's too much evidence prior to this, like, that shows you exactly who these two people are. And if you want to say that, hey, because of that, that's why, they were playing the agenda of the old, the weak black man. I know too many women who no longer think like that. So, I don't even have friends who think like that think low of black men. Even whatever mistakes that may come up. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it right there.
But
Y'all are gonna have to continue to think about that as y'all, go through life. I know that y'all probably think highly of yourselves, so I know that there's probably, nothing that y'all would let society, demasculate y'all or,
Absolutely not.
when it comes to that. So, but I do think that there are other ways that, you can be demasculated without, whether, perception. I think that's of society. I think that there's moments where there's no one looking, that possibly you demasculate yourself, whether that's how you handle yourself in certain situations or how you critique yourself or whatever. So I'm going to leave that there.
But my whole point on that is not really even a gender. My point is that I feel is the whole point that they're trying to put is to disrespect black people toward each other as far as like a self-hate. And that's the problem I have with the covers, because it's trying to say that, well, look, black men ain't worth a damn, but at the same time, it's trying to put black women at a pedestal for 1 minute, but the next week they're disrespecting black women on TV as far as like society and culture. Because we hear it all the time, black women are the most disrespected women on the planet, and that's true. But another thing too, black men are the most disrespected people in their community. So that's the point I was trying to make with both, is that it's trying to disrespect the community as a whole. Like, the community's a joke. That's
I
my
mean,
whole point.
I understand what you're saying, but it also, I mean, I feel like throughout these years, I've seen more of us reclaim more of our power back from society, of putting those labels on us. Like, you have to create that for yourself, and I feel like that currently people are trying to take back their power with that. Like, I'm not going to continue to put this label of me that I'm not shit and that, you know, I don't take care of my family. And not only am I telling you this, I actually now have the actions to back this up.
Yeah.
I feel like that is the society that we are living on. And I feel like, yes, there may be that 15, that 20% that's still out there thinking like, you know what? Damn, this system is holding us back and they got us out here looking crazy. But there's too many of us that are breaking the chains of that mental bondage of that. Like, there are too many of us that's actually trying to take steps to leave that backward ass thinking back there and moving forward. You cannot make a change without trying to move forward and leave some shit behind. Like,
and are we moving forward if we're just judging a magazine cover of a man in pink or a man holding his child with his woman, even though it's the cover is about her?
Yeah, the level of thought is just so surface level.
So
like you can't even get further into the fact that the same society is also the same people that's paying our bills. Until we get control of ourselves and we start to get our people into leadership, which also goes into politics and whatnot, and it's going to be, some of us don't know how to act straight. We get a little power in us, we don't know how to act right.
That's
so
true.
it's going to be some corrupt us.
We also
You better believe it.
People with us.
We like to cut people off. There's a lot of us that still have crab mentality.
Yeah, there's a lot of elitism going on.
Yeah,
there's like crab in the buckets going on.
Until we fix that shit,
there's a lot of gatekeeping going on. Okay,
we can't even get past to the point we can make some real changes. Like, I don't know. Like, the change has to start within us. Like,
not from a magazine cover.
But I agree, but I also think the magazine was put out there, presented in that way to take our focus off of those things you just mentioned. Created.
So what about the people that haven't seen
propaganda?
that cover? So what about the percentage of black people that have not seen that cover?
Well, I can't speak for them.
Exactly. So we can't speak at all if we can't speak for the whole. If we can't,
How did you see this cover? Did you do your research for this show, or were you going to look at it anyway?
I did the research for this show, and it popped up on my Instagram feed.
Okay. So what about people that don't have Instagram?
But you know, people, how word gets around, people just start talking. So you got a percentage of people that's gonna know.
People, think about it. People that don't listen to. We're far removed from We're far removed from books. We're far removed from magazines. There's some people that have Facebook that don't have Instagram. There's some people that don't have anything at all. You have middle age, 40s, 50s. They're not on social media. You have some people that are too busy for social media. So it has to be an audience. It has to be an audience thing, right? But it also goes back to the, Cameron and Pink thing. You got to choose what you want to entertain and choose if it's going to affect you or not. But it's really a personal thing. I don't think one magazine cover of A$AP Rocky and Rhianna and them holding their child is messing up the community. I don't think the way Jonathan Majors dressed is messing up the community. I don't even think he dates black women, so it's really none of our business. Because we were just ranting and raving about the show that they have. What is it? Lovecraft. we were ranting and raving about the show, but he got on Pink. We can't love him. I think it's crazy. So yeah, no, I don't think us diving deep into a magazine cover is demasculating any black men. I think we demasculate them enough where we need to start taking accountability. A magazine cover that people barely see is not the reason why the black community is, at its worst, or, we are up and coming. Like I said, there are some of us out here thriving. We're getting back into it, but let's not always blame the white man. We can also take some accountability. It's just a magazine cover. There's plenty other magazine covers, that have other couples on there. There's magazines that are not even the reach in the black community at all. You have, what do you have out there? What's the other ones? You got Essence, you have Ebony, we used to have Jet. We used to have Double XL with, the hip hop and whatnot, the stores. But we got to also think about, the magazines for the other cultures. There's plenty of, Caucasian people dressed in a certain way because they were able to accept that, okay, I could be different in fashion, but that's not affecting our household. Let's talk about Prince. Prince was as feminine as they came, but he wasn't a gay man. He dated women. So how is fashion or the way someone stands, their position of stance on a magazine cover, affecting the household?
Because it wasn't being presented as fashion. It was being presented as fashion. That was Prince's signature dressing style. But I feel in these covers, it was being this one was being used to drive up feelings in the black community to create controversy. Because controversy sells.
Also, not only was Prince dressing feminine, he also wore makeup, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I feel like
you got a lot of people that wear makeup. You got actors that wear makeup on camera.
I feel like black people at this point.
The love for the black man right now, for the black woman, is at an all-time high. So all that, it playing a role into, women feeling a way about black men, I just have to disagree. Like, there are times that I just scroll through my Instagram where all I see are black women loving on their man. Regardless, like, there are times in society where I'm just walking through and I'm like, man, look at that black man doing his thing. Like, the love for us right now is just at an all-time high, where it's kind of like, even you see it on Instagram where you see maybe someone does try to paint us in a bad light, and it's like it just comes with all of us underneath that post where we're just standing up for each other and just, oh no, don't come for us. We are just congregating with each other at an all-time high right now. So that photo, that cover is not playing that huge of a role into that. It's not. I'm at a place right now, I'm in public right now, and I'm at a place right now where I am seeing black men carry gift bags into a baby shower.
Well, what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with that. But it's nothing wrong with that. But I do remember a time with me growing up where black men wouldn't even go to baby showers because that's what women do. But the love for black men and the way that they're being handled right now is at an all-time high for us to just feel like that cover in particular is showing us even more that the black man ain't shit. I have to disagree with you. I have to disagree because I myself, like, I'm not dating men right now. I'm actually engaged to a woman, and nowhere in my mind do I feel like, you know what, niggas ain't shit. That's crazy.
But
that's absolutely insane.
Well, that just speaks a lot to your character, that you have good character and you have a lot of love for your community. But we do have a lot of people in the community that have self-hate.
But there's so much more of us that don't. That's what I'm saying. That number, I'm not agreeing with you, but there's so much more of us that is loving on our community right now, that wants to see us come together, that knows that, if we could just get it together, man, we'll take this shit over, which is the truth.
See, that's my point, is that we got to take control of the narrative, and we got to take control of magazines and different media stuff, so we can control that narrative.
We
So
control the narrative.
we
We
can tell
control.
us what you was just telling,
Yep. We
because the
control and cut
negative
out the unity.
perception is being put in white media about us. That's what I'm saying. But what you saying, yeah, that is true too.
I mean, but this is Q again. I feel what y'all saying. I respect y'all opinion, but there are also black magazines that are, honoring black men, honoring black women. So Vogue is what Rihanna and ASAP was on. Vogue is a fashion magazine. So that's the only place that y'all need to talk about fashion. We're not talking about the community. Ebony, Essence, Jet, all that was black. That was a black focused, outlet. So that's more so where we would see, okay, let's talk more about the black community, not just fashion. Let's talk about this, that, and the third with the blacks. Vogue, you can't really take that into anything else because Vogue is fashion. So I feel what y'all are saying, but it's kind of like y'all are going too deep into placement of where people are standing in the photo, a color preference of what Jonathan Majors have on. It's just not deep enough to say that, okay, these are the causes and they're trying to hold us back again off of a photo shoot. Because again, some of this information is not presented in the household. Let's start at the household, okay? Let's start at people being on welfare for all their life. Let's talk about that, okay? Let's talk about things that really matter. Social media could get shut down today or tomorrow. What's going to be our excuse for still holding certain people back? It's going to be the household. There's been plenty of times where Instagram has shut down or started glitching. You got to remain back to what? Your household. So I get what you're saying, but it doesn't hold weight. A magazine is not holding weight on where we are as a society. I think we've come a long way. I still think, we're old reparations. But
I agree with that as well. We're old reparations.
And California is doing it right now. California is giving black people a lot of things right now. So, like I said, social media as well as a magazine cover is not really putting a dent in the black household. It's the black people in the household.
I agree with you on those opinions about reparations, about how we do need to take accountability. We need to come together, and I agree with those opinions. We can have agreements and disagreements. I want to know what are your guys' final thoughts on the whole masculine women and the feminine black men and that whole conversation.
So my question, I have a question really quick for you. What does a masculine woman look like to you? Like, what does that encompass? And I want to know if you're just going off of, like, personality, like, this is a strong black woman that maybe has had to struggle in her life, or maybe she wasn't dealt the right cards where she had to basically, pick herself up by her bootstraps and make things happen for her. Are we talking about that type of masculine, strong woman? Or are we talking about, women that obviously look masculine? Like, what angle are we taking here?
Okay, for my opinion, masculine women is defined by two things. Attitude, character, how you carry yourself, how you look, your image, your brand. So we have women who look masculine, wear masculine clothing, and it's also the attitude of, I don't need a man, I'm strong, I'm black, I'm independent. Man ain't shit, these men ain't shit, these men ain't nothing. That type of mentality of the masculine woman, and the women need to take charge, and the women need to take control, and the man is nothing, and my man's beneath me, and I'm the breadwinner, and it's this superior, quote unquote, I call it false female empowerment, where in order to empower yourself, you have to put the black man down. And I don't agree with that. I think that is toxic femininity.
And you know what? We can go ahead and have a great conversation on this because I completely agree with you. Like I stated, I don't have any friends that feel like that. I actually don't place myself with women who think like that. I may not have been through some of the best experiences with certain men in my life, but I also still don't feel like that. So I don't have that agenda, nor am I around it enough where I'm in a place to believe it. Am I privy to it? Absolutely. But there are women definitely who do push that agenda where they are strong enough, they don't need a man. That comes from a place of hurt. That's how I feel on that. Certain things have been let down in their life, whether it be physically, mentally, financially, where emotionally, where they feel like that now they can only take care of themselves. I feel like everybody has that mentality, but black women can kind of go a little further with that because if we've been let down by other people so much, then our mindset is yes, that no one is going to look out for you like you. No one's going to get the job done for you like you. So you might as well go ahead and take the extra steps to lead yourself down the path that you desire for your life. Yes, I do feel like that is pushed. With that, maybe that mindset isn't as also going as far as I just described it. There are some women that feel like, you know what, men ain't shit. I don't need a man, whatnot. There are some bitter black women out here, but that's also because a place from that also is coming from a place of experience and a place of hurt where they need to begin healing within themselves. But until they take those steps, they will always feel like that. I don't feel like that's majority of our black women, though. There are black women that are finally taking responsibility for their actions, whether they chose to believe something that a black man was telling them, but this black man really took the time to thoroughly explain, and maybe we twisted the words to ourselves to not believe that, or maybe that's not what he was saying, and now we out here 20 years later looking stupid and being bitter for no good reason. Yes, you have that group as well. But there's a lot of us out here that are really taking responsibility. Like, you know what? That's not what it was from the beginning. And you know what? I should have went with my gut, and I should have went with what I knew. That I feel like that's what it is. But unfortunately, that whole society on the masculine woman, with the women that want to dress like men. I cannot really speak to that because even with me, with when I decided to date a woman, I knew in my mind that was not the type of woman that I was going for. For one, if I wanted to be with a man, I can be with a man. I have no problem grabbing that at all. But also, when you have someone as a woman that is trying to pull off a masculine feel or whatnot, that is something that person is dealing with within themselves, of feeling a way but looking like something else. And that's a battle that also starts with healing. That's something that you need to go to a therapist to talk to someone about, whether that's finding someone else that's going through that change as well to talk to them about that. But a lot of that starts with healing. And I feel like that if we can take responsibility for our actions as black women, that would actually alleviate some of that. Black men ain't shit, and you can't trust a nigga, no, and all of that. Yeah, and black women as well. I mean, black men as well. Black men who have been hurt by black women. Maybe you put yourself out there in a vulnerable state because you feel like that you are supposed to be a black man and you're supposed to be super strong and you can't show no emotion and all this. And maybe a woman has come into your life and hurt you in a way that you can never let that go. And now you're holding everyone else accountable for that. That also needs to be talked about as well.
Well, we have agreements and disagreements on that. My final thoughts on this whole masculine women, feminine men is this: women are women, and men are men. Men are supposed to be strong, fierce, courageous, do whatever it takes to protect the family. Women are supposed to stick by the man and stick by them through no matter what, through good times and bad times. And I feel like the goal with the agenda and everything is to ultimately take away that unity between the black man and black woman and the black family. That's why I go so hard against the agenda, is because I want to see black people unified, together, strong, fierce, courageous, like we were in the 60s. We were fighting against oppression. We were strong. We were unified. We were courageous. We didn't take shit from nobody. This is who we are as a people. And this is just my final thoughts on the whole masculine women and feminine men. It's like they're doing this to divide us and not have us strong, not have us unified, not have us together, not have us solving problems within our community. That's what the goal is. And that's just my final thoughts on it. And this is overall, that's just my final thoughts on this. And I just want to close out. I just want to say that, hey, Ashley K, Q, it's been a pleasure having y'all on here. I just want to make sure all our people tuning in to the show, make sure y'all tune into the Black Evolution. We trying to change lives. We trying to change the culture. We trying to make people evolve. Make people think.
Yeah.
Be conscious.
Yeah.
Be woke.
Yeah.
Stand up.
Yeah.
Black power.
You know it.
This is it. We out.